Okay, YouTube, we're going to be starting the first Aqua Regia treatment. First I want you to notice, if you look at the silver container, we have still a little bit of bubbling in there. So the silver coin that I put in there previously is still dissolving, still getting rid of the nitric acid. So we'll just let that keep on going and let that dissolve. Meanwhile, we have here our gold that's been inquarted and nitric acid boiled, and now we're going to do the Aqua Regia. So stay tuned, we'll be right back. Okay, to get this first Aqua Regia going, we're going to put in hydrochloric acid. We're going to fill that up to the 300 milliliter mark. 300 mLs of hydrochloric acid. We got about 2 ounces of gold there. That should be enough. Okay, next what we're going to do is we're going to put about an ml, maybe a little more, of concentrated sulfuric acid. It's full strength. Concentrated sulfuric acid. We're going to put about 1 ml in there. What that's going to do is that will take any lead that might be in there and turn it into lead sulfate, so that when we do the filtration after the gold is all dissolved, it'll filter out the lead. Now we're going to start adding concentrated nitric acid. Concentrated nitric acid. We're going to start off with probably 10 milliliters. We don't want to put in too much, but there's 2 ounces of gold in there. It's probably going to take about 20. We'll start with 15. Okay, there's 3. 6, 9, 12, 15, we'll go 18. I know it's going to use it all. We'll go 21. All right. 21 milliliters. 21 milliliters concentrated nitric acid. Turn on the heat. You can see the gold is already starting to dissolve. And the time is 6:26. And we'll let this just go. We'll be back when we get a little more action. Okay, we have some good boiling action now. I turned the heat down to low. Just gonna let it simmer Let all this material, all this gold in the bottom of this will dissolve. I probably didn't put enough nitric in, but we'll see as we go along. When the reaction stops happening, I'll be adding some more nitric in small increments just until all the gold is completely dissolved. So we'll be back. Okay, we are 10 minutes into it. We are still getting a good reaction. The heat is on low, so a nice simmering boil. The gold is dissolving in the nitric. We'll be back in a little bit. I said the gold is dissolving in the nitric. The gold is actually dissolving in the Aqua Regia, which is hydrochloric acid fueled by the nitric, which is dissolving the gold. Out of all the processes, this is the most interesting. I just can't get over it. It's really a pretty sight watching this gold dissolve and turn into this golden orange gold solution. It's just great. We'll be back. Okay, it's been 15 minutes. The reaction has just about stalled. We're going to add some more nitric acid and get this reaction going again. There's plenty of gold left in the bottom there. We'll go 9 more. Nine more mLs. Concentrated nitric. We're going to slow. It'll probably fire up as soon as we put this nitric in. You can see the reaction pick up almost immediately. There's 3. There's 6. There's 9. 9 more mLs concentrated nitric. The reaction's really picked up a lot of steam. 9 more. And we'll let it go till that stops. The time now is 6:43. Okay, it's 6:52. As you can see, the reaction has stalled again. So we're going to need to add a little bit more nitric, but I just wanted to show you that most of the gold has dissolved, but as you can see in the bottom, there's a little tiny bit left in there. I don't know how well you can see it. There's just a little bit left in the bottom. So we're going to be adding nitric slowly. I don't want to overshoot. I don't want to have excess nitric when I go to drop that from the Aqua Regia, the chloroauric acid, when I drop that gold into a gold powder. So we're going to get a little bit more nitric. We're going to put maybe, we'll try 3 mLs. Put it in slowly. It's going to flare up. And we've got 3 more in there. And we'll see how long that goes. Okay, it's 7:02. I haven't done anything since I've added the last 3 milliliters of nitric acid. The reaction has slowed down a lot. However, you can still see the chunk. There's one little piece down in the bottom right there that is still seems to be reacting vigorously. So I'm not going to add any more nitric right now. I'm just going to let this go on medium-low heat until that reaction stops, and we'll see what we have left. Either there will be nothing left, or I'll have to add maybe 1 more ml of nitric to finish it up, but we'll see. 7:02. Okay, reaction is almost stalled. I'm not going to add anything just yet. We're still getting action down in the bottom of the beaker. You can see it, but there's a few little pieces and they're still reacting. So they're just being stubborn little guys. But I've been watching them and they're getting smaller and smaller. So I have a feeling there's enough nitric in there and we're going to get this all dissolved, so there will be nothing left, no solids left. It's 7:11. We'll be back. Okay, it's 7:26. I still have 3 little tiny pieces in there that are reacting like crazy, but they're really slow to dissolve. But I just checked them and they keep getting smaller and smaller, so it won't be too much a matter of time where everything will be dissolved and we can go on to filtration. So 7:26, and we'll be back in a little bit with the next update. Okay, we're back at 7:41. I don't know if you can see it on camera, but in the bottom there is 1 little piece, and I mean this thing is tiny, and it's reacting, and I've been watching it. It's been getting smaller, it's bouncing around. It's just about done. I haven't added any nitric, and we're just going to let it go. It's not long for the solid form. We'll be back in a few minutes. First, Aqua Regia, 7:42. Okay, we are done with the first Aqua Regia. There is 1 really grain of sand type piece in there that I'm not going to wait for it. When we filter this, the filter will pull it out and we'll see what it is. Probably just save it for the next refining. But I mean, it's really small. But anyway, we'll turn the heat off. We're going to move this silver out of here. We're going to put it in a safe place. And we're going to take our gold off the heat. And we'll sit it in this pan right here. Set it right there. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to filter this first Aqua Regia. So get that out of the way. Get that out of the way. I have a 500 milliliter flask. Give it a rinse. We're gonna put some ice in here to cool it off. This might cause it to become cloudy. If it does, it's because there is a little bit of silver in there, and we'll be making silver chloride. It actually looks pretty good right now. You want to get it nice and cool, like like maybe a glass of lemonade or something. I only got 2 left. I'll put them both in. We'll set up our bucket funnel. The filter paper in there. Get it wet. Get it all settled down in there. And we'll let this still a tad warm. We'll let it cool down. Actually, it looks really good. It looks really clear. I believe this is going to be some really high purity gold. So we'll let that set for a minute and we'll be right back. Okay, it's nice and cool now, cool to the touch. I don't have vacuum, so this is going to take a while. So anyway, let's pour this into the funnel. We're getting a pretty good flow out of it for no vacuum. Stuff is nice and clean. Let it go. It's 8:01. Alright, that first one didn't drain too bad. So we'll do the second one. And we'll just let it drain. It's 8:05. Okay, it's 8:10. We'll get the rest of this in there. Wasn't much. We'll rinse it out. And we'll just let that drain. Okay, you can see that is all drained. So we'll rinse out the filter, rinse out the funnel, out the paper. Get all the yellow out of it. Okay, 8:15. Let's see, we're done. Nice and clean, it's all rinsed out. There's our solution. Take the funnel out of here. Set that funnel over there. And the next step with this will be to go into SMB, sodium metabisulfate, drop the gold out of here, and do another Aqua Regia. That won't happen tonight. It'll probably happen tomorrow night. So we'll see you there. Thanks for watching. Okay, I've moved this gold to a beaker. It's been a couple of days. I didn't do anything yesterday. But I moved the gold to a beaker, and we're going to do the dropout of the gold. We're going to use sodium metabisulfite, which is stump out hardware store material. I'm not sure how much nitric acid is left in here, but we're going to find out as soon as we try to drop it. So here we go. Wow, that's looking good, ain't it? Looks good to me. See that gold fall right out of there? This creates, I believe, sulfur dioxide gas, and the gas is what causes the gold to fall out of solution. We'll just keep adding it. Get a little foamy action there. I don't think it's ready yet. A nice little hissy fit on that one. They say that's a good sign. I'm not experienced enough to know for sure, but I've seen a couple of videos. They say when you get that big foamy head, it should take care of it. I'm gonna put one more spoon in. And I'm gonna say that's done. $8, $8.99 a bottle. Ace Hardware, 1 pound. So we'll just let that settle out for a while and see what we have. We'll come back in an hour or so and take a look at it. Okay, this gold has been sitting about an hour. What I did was just a few minutes ago, well, on video I just did it, but it's been about an hour. I dropped the gold out of the chloroauric acid solution with stump out, which is sodium metabisulfite. It didn't take too much at all. I was surprised. Most of the gold fell. I still got some, it looks like gold, floating around. That'll probably all drop eventually. I just want to show it to you. I'm gonna let it set longer, a couple more hours anyway. But we have, you can see all the gold in the bottom. Now you can't see it from there, but got a nice little pile of gold in the bottom of that beaker. So we're just gonna let that settle out. I'm gonna give it a little stir. Maybe I can knock some of these floaties down. Try not to disturb the bottom too much. I don't really know what's floating in there. If anybody has any ideas, they can comment on the video and tell me what it might be. But it's looking pretty good. Like I said, I'm going to let it go a couple more hours, and I'm going to test it with some stannous chloride to see if I have any gold left in solution. And if I don't, we'll filter it out and likely move on to a second Aqua Regia. Okay, for now we are out. Alright, I just wanted to show you this. If you remember a moment ago, we had a bunch of particles floating around on top. It looked like gold, but it was floating. What I did was I put a little bit more stump out in, a little bit more sodium metabisulfite, and it appeared to make all the gold fall to the bottom. It looks really good now. You know, I just sprinkled it in and I got a nice white foamy head. It looked, as a matter of fact, let me demonstrate this. And I didn't use much, I only put just a little bit in. I'll take a little bit out, get some out of here. That's enough. Okay, and I just sprinkled it in like that, and it reacted nicely. It's like a nice clear solution, and everything that was floating fell down to the bottom. And I kind of liked seeing that. And now, as you can see, pick this up out of here. Look at our gold sitting in the bottom of the beaker. It's a good 3/4 of an inch thick, pure gold powder. So we're going to let that settle for a couple hours and then we'll filter it out. We'll be back. Okay, this has been sitting at least an hour. It's looking really good. Nice and clear. You can see all the gold is settled out into the bottom. We're going to make sure we don't have any gold in solution. We're going to do a stannous test on it. I made some stannous chloride. That's probably a whole nother video. But what we're going to do is I also made some gold test solution. And what we have is I put 1 grain, I diluted 1 grain of pure gold in 100 milliliters of Aqua Regia. So this is what I got. So we're going to test our solution first. And 1 grain in 100 milliliters it's very weak. So I'm going to make sure my solution works by dropping some into a spoon. I'll take my pipette, just put a little in my pipette. 8 drops is enough. 8 drops in the spoon. Make sure our stannous is good. I made this about a month ago. It should still be good. We'll drop some stannous in there. Okay. Immediately it turns black or brown. So we know the stannous is good as far as gold detection. Now we're going to take some solution from here. I have to clean this out. Or, better still, I'll just take a little bit right off the top. Put some stannous in it. We still have a little bit of gold in solution. It sure isn't much, considering this is 1 grain per 100 milliliters. And 1 grain is actually, if I remember right, it's 0.06 of a gram. So it's 6/100ths of a gram in 100 milliliters. I have in here 900 mLs. This is testing weaker than the strength of this. I would say much weaker. Let's do a test on a filter paper. Okay, so I have some filter paper. What we're going to do is we're going to get the test solution on a filter paper. And we'll drop some stannous on it. And you can see, unlike in the teaspoon, there's only a very small amount of gold sample on the paper, but it is turning brown, showing that there is a trace amount, which 1 grain per 100 milliliters is a trace amount in the solution. So we'll put that one over there to match with that. Now we'll take a sample of our old Aqua Regia solution, and I'm thinking that we are going to get a clean test here, but let's see. I don't know if you can see it, just a slight hint of brown. This is our test solution. This is our process solution. Very, very slight. So apparently the gold hasn't all dropped. So what we're going to do is put a little more SMB in there. See if we can get the rest of it to come down. Shouldn't take much. Throw a couple spoons in and we'll wait a little bit. I don't know if y'all can see that. Put a couple of spoons in. Try to get the rest of it to drop. That was close. Put one more in. And we will let that sit for a while. And we'll come back and test it again. So, this is the results of the stannous test. This one here is the stannous test of our gold solution, testing solution. This here, and this here, as you can see, is this solution. Stannous test. Once it dried, there's nothing there. I put some more SMB in. I'm going to say that if there's any gold in there, it's such a trace amount, I'm not even going to worry about it. I mean, I would say microns. This solution is going to be saved anyway. It'll go in my stock pot where I keep any solution that might have precious metals. It's a pot. I just throw the solutions in. I have copper in there, and by the time I get to it, it might be 10 years from now because I don't do a whole lot of refining, but I'm hanging on to it. You never know. Okay, let's refill this funnel. I had to get something to drink. It's cold out here. I mean, it's hot out here. And a nice cold beer. I live in the Arizona desert. It's 105 degrees right now. And it's only about 1:30 in the afternoon. They're saying 109 by 4:30, so this goes down really smooth. Yes. Okay, we've got just about all the solution run through. What we have left is our gold. We have to put our gold in there and filter it out. So, let's see if I can pour this in there without spilling it too awful bad. Get it all in there. Should all fit. And drop some on the table. I'll have to pick that up. Let's get it all in there. Nice and easy. None left in the beaker. Okay, we got it all out of the beaker. Now, we did drop a little piece on the table. Let me pick that up. Okay, we got it all in there. That was a pretty good load. What I did was I picked it up off the table, a little piece that I spilled, with a couple of used filter papers. And I'm going to just add these to the next Aqua Regia. That'll all get dissolved, so there's no loss there. And it barely fits. I'm surprised. This is a 75mm funnel. I'm just rinsing it right now with distilled water. And I'll give it one more rinse after that with hydrochloric acid. And we'll go directly into the next Aqua Regia. And the total time to do this 1,000 was about 920 milliliter filtration of the Aqua Regia solution. The total time was 2 beers. And I just want to show you, it's really nice sitting outside here. As you can see, I have a thermometer over there. It is 110 degrees sitting out here in the shade. Beautiful Arizona desert day. Okay, and we're going to rinse our gold off with a little bit of hydrochloric acid. This will clean it up better than distilled water will. Just let that flow through a couple of times, and we'll be ready to go into the next Aqua Regia. Okay, that hydrochloric acid rinse is going through. We're going to give it one more hydrochloric acid rinse, and then we will take this whole funnel and paper and throw it in a clean beaker and do a second Aqua Regia. We're just on the second beer, so that's how long it's took. We're finishing the second beer, and as you can see, the temperature now is 112 Fahrenheit in the shade. Beautiful Arizona desert day. Beautiful. Okay, this is just about completely drained. Looks pretty nice. It's a little on the dark side. I'd like it to be a little more caramel colored instead of chocolate colored, but after the second Aqua Regia refining, that's what we should get. So we're going to move our flask of the first refining aside, and we're going to dump. We have our 2 filter papers from we picked up the little piece that I dropped, so I picked it up on the filter papers, put the papers in there, and we're going to throw this in our flask, our beaker, filter and all, and do a second Aqua Regia. That filter paper will be dissolved completely during the Aqua Regia process, and we are ready for our second refining. Thanks for watching.